Hey YouTubers, just got through adding another modification to the Jeep Gladiator. This one's from Diode Dynamics, so come a little closer, let me show you. We just got through installing the Diode Dynamic SS3 Pro 3-inch light pods and also their cowl mount bracket here. And you can see it's got the Diode Dynamics logo on the side. It's probably about an 1/8 inch steel, and it's got like a powder coat on it. And I gotta say, the lights are really high quality. So I'm gonna show you a real world test. Sorry about all the traffic noise. We're fixing to go hit some back roads and show you just how bright these are. So stay tuned. This is just the stock lights, and there is the running lights. And then here is the Diode Dynamics lights on the pod lights. Oh my God, it's a drastic difference. I mean, seriously, when you turn this thing on a back road, it is so much better than even just with just the driving lights. Even if they're on high, it can't compare to the amount of light output that these things have. We're going down some foggy back road here in Georgia. And as you can see, the Gladiator's got pretty good lights. This one's the one with the LEDs from the factory, so of course it's pretty bright. Plus the fog lights are on, and it does a pretty good job. But I'm fixing to switch on the Diode Dynamics 3-inch light pods, and I'm gonna show you just how bright it is when we're going into this turn. Check that out. Man, these things really cut through the fog where you couldn't see before. Check this out. You turn it off, you can't really see ahead, but you turn those on, man, it lights it up well beyond the factory lights. I mean, it's just crazy. So, you know, I can't say enough about these lights. Let me turn them off so we don't blind these people in their house. But anyways, I have used some of the Diode Dynamics bulbs in my GMC Sierra. In fact, that's all the bulbs that I have on my Sierra. But I've tested a bunch of other bulbs and things like that. But I gotta say, the Diode Dynamics ones, they're great quality. Now, they're not cheap, but they really deliver. So I'm gonna have her turn off the driving lights, and I'm just gonna turn the Diode Dynamics lights on. So go ahead and turn your driving lights off. So we turned the lights off the Jeep. This is just the Diode Dynamics pods. So, I mean, look at that. Plenty enough light. That's more than enough light. And truthfully, we don't have them adjusted out perfect yet. But even not adjusted out, I mean, gosh, it's still amazing how much light these things really do put out. Now go ahead and turn your lights back on for the Jeep. So really, it doesn't make that big of a difference when you turn the Jeep lights on. Go ahead and turn the Jeep lights off again. Okay. All right. Now turn the Jeep lights back on. All right. Now I'm gonna turn the Diode Dynamics lights off. Look at that. That is a night and day difference. I mean, really. I'm gonna turn them back on. Check it out. Literally, it's a huge difference. All right, guys. Well, had my girlfriend hop in the Gladiator, and she's about to come down the road, and I just wanted to show you just how bright these lights are from, you know, a different perspective. And you can already see, I mean, geez, look at that. And that's with all the lights on. That is insane. Now, she doesn't have the fog lights on, but that's just the stock lights and the Diode Dynamics pod lights. And you can see, look how that thing lights up. Look at that. That's insane. And you can see she turned them off. She didn't want to blind nobody. If you're looking to do some trail riding, I mean, these are the lights you need if you want it bright. All right, now here she comes again. She got the stock Jeep headlights on. She's got the fog lights on this time, and the Diode Dynamics pods. I mean, look at that. Look at all the light output. Now she turned the fog lights off. But that's a hell of a lot of light. My gosh. All right, guys, we're going down another road, and it's a little foggy. There's some real heavy spots, and you know, we've got just the stock headlights on, and I'm fixing to turn the Diode Dynamics lights on. Look at that. Man, that's just ridiculous. I mean, it again, I know I keep repeating myself, but it's amazing how much light they put out on top of the headlights. Or, you know, turn the Jeep lights off. That's just the Diode Dynamics lights, nothing else. Now turn the Jeep lights back on. So yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. So like I said, we hadn't really played with the adjustment on them yet. We've got them close, but you know, it's a tremendous difference. So if you're in need of some good lights, these are the best that I think you'll find. Very, very happy with them. Plus, one thing I failed to mention is, one thing that's cool is when you're driving, you can see the Rubicon on the side of the hood when you're standing outside of the Jeep. So it looks pretty cool with the lights on and everything, because it lights that Rubicon logo up. And it just looks sharp. I noticed it when she come pulling in a while ago, and I could see it lit up. Alright, we're down by the river where it's really foggy. I'm gonna turn them on. Look at that. This road was actually closed today. It was underwater. There were some really bad storms that come through here yesterday and today. Actually, there was a bunch of tornadoes and stuff down in Alabama, and so this road had flooded today, and they just opened it back up. But you can see that it's cutting through the fog, and I just wanted to give you guys different scenarios and different roads, and show you just exactly real world what it's like to have some really good lights. So that's just the stock lights. I'm gonna turn the Diode Dynamics ones back on. I mean, again, huge difference. All right, well, we made it back to the house, and you know, we were about to pull it into the garage, and I gotta say, it's ridiculous. It's New Year's. It's about to turn New Year's in just a few minutes, and we've been out riding the roads a little bit, and we just pulled up to the house, and I was like, well, go ahead and pull it in the garage. And I told her just to wait just a second so I can show you just how bright it is. I mean, I'm telling you guys, the camera is not going to do this justice. I mean, these things are super freaking bright. Just wanted to give you an up close look, and you can see I've got the driving light right here mounted on the outside, and then I figured we would mount the floodlight towards the inside. Now this is just something we're playing around with. We might change them around and just see what's best for us, but I think I like the way that it's set up right now. Now, as far as hooking everything up, this is probably the easiest installation of any kind of light that you could even imagine. I mean, seriously, from hooking the bracket up and mounting the lights, really, you don't need anything else. Everything was pretty much included. Now, the one thing that I was impressed with is the bolts. Now, this right here is a stock bolt that come in your Jeep. And this is the one that Diode Dynamics supplies with their bracket here. They're a little bit longer, and it has a little bushing behind that, and then a bushing up under here, and then there's a longer bolt, and you can see the bolts match the stock bolt right down here. So, you know, it's the little differences like that that really make it stand out. Because, you know, truthfully, if these three bolts were odd, it would look different than this one here. So, you know, I'm a details kind of guy, so I like that. Now, as far as the bracket that mounts there on the cowl panel, I like it. It's really sturdy. I mean, literally, you can move this thing, and when you push on it, you can move the whole Jeep. I mean, seriously, it's that sturdy. You're not going to bend it. And also, if you wanted to mount like a CB antenna, you could do that. I know some of the guys put like lighted whips on some of their Jeeps. You can mount one of those right there. And I've seen some of you rock crawler guys even mount like a pod light up underneath the side right there. So, you know, there's a rail to mount it to if you want to do that. And one idea that I had, and I might do this, is, you know, everybody mounts those lights right here around this little vent. But, you know, I was thinking, if that burns out, you know, that's going to be a pain in the butt to get to have to replace. So I was thinking about mounting some sort of light here to the side of this bracket. Is just like a running light. So when your running lights are on, then this light that I mounted right here could be like an amber colored running light. So I haven't decided if I'm going to do that or not, but it's just another idea. So that way, if somebody's beside you, they don't run into you, and be another safety feature for just riding in day-to-day traffic and stuff. As far as the lights, you know, I gotta say the fit and finish of these Diode Dynamics lights is phenomenal. I mean, you can see where it bolts together right there, and the seam is perfect. You can see these heat sinks. I mean, that's pretty cool the way that they've designed that, and it looks like little Allen keys sticking out of the back of there. And as far as the installation goes, very, very simple. It's just a plug and play. You plug that in, you plug that in, and then it goes down to another waterproof connector, and it basically splits this one and this one into one, and then it goes up underneath this little panel, and it fits right up underneath the hood right here. And I'll pop the hood and show you what it looks like underneath. Now I'm going to show you how to wire this thing up, and very, very simple. You're going to be amazed at just how simple that this is. You know, I've tackled some wiring before on some lights, and it's kind of a pain in the butt, but this kit that Diode Dynamics has, I mean, I'm telling you, it don't get any easier than this. It's all plug and play, and you know, just routing the wires pretty much all you have to do. And if you can plug in a drop cord, you can definitely, you know, wire these lights up. Now, it does come with two kits. It has just a regular universal kit, so I didn't use this one because, you know, my Jeep has the one with the panel here on the inside. It's like an auxiliary panel. You can see right there, there's an auxiliary 1, an auxiliary 2, 3, and 4. And so I'm going to wire it to where when I mash this button right here, that the Diode Dynamics lights come on. So that's auxiliary 1. The way that you find that wire is on some Jeeps that has that panel. You'll find some wires right here next to your battery. You can see there's your battery right behind it, right in this area. You'll find some wires that are just taped up, and you'll see that there's a tan one. The tan one is the one I'm using, but it was right in here, and it's a fatter wire, and that's the one I'm tapped into. That's auxiliary 1. This big green wire right here, the one that's green with the pink stripe on it, that's auxiliary 2. This red one right there, it's like a reddish orange, that is auxiliary 3. And this purple wire, it's a little smaller, is auxiliary 4. So these two small ones, I would not use those. They're not heavy enough to carry all that power going to the lights. So you can use auxiliary 1 or auxiliary 2, the tan one or the green one. So like I said, I went ahead and tapped into that one, and you can see that I ran the harness right up here, and I told you that it fits right through. You don't have to cut anything or modify anything. You just lift up on this little styrofoam seal and stick that wire in there, and you know, you can see that it just fits right on through there. And once you pull this panel off, then you can route your wire right down in there. You don't have to make any holes. It's not going to scratch anything up. You just run your wire down through here, and then you have another wire that splits off and goes across. And as you can see, I went ahead and put mine in loom. Even though it has that coating on it, I just thought, I've got the loom, might as well use it. And I just ran mine across the top right here. The reason I did that is, you know, I wanted it to be accessible. So in case I ever have to add more lights or take them off, if I sold the vehicle or whatever, then I can pull it off really easy. Now, one guy that I seen doing an installation, he took his and tucked them up underneath between this black piece and up underneath that body seam right there. So you can hide them, you know, real good and be real stealthy if you want to, but I thought that it looked nice and out of the way, the way that I've got it. And it's very simple to get to. I just took and run a zip tie around that little bracket there, zip tie around that bracket. Like I said, you know, there's no wiggle, jiggle, or none of that. And if you have to take it loose, it's easy to get to. And there was already a harness, some electrical going up through there. So I just, you know, wrapped a zip tie around that and did the same thing. I just passed it through. And this side here raises up. You just pull that foam up and you can easily slide your connector up in there. And then you just pop that foam back down. And you just pull your wire up through the cowl panel and it comes out right there. So very, very, very easy installation. I can't stress that enough. And you know, it literally took me a couple hours to install the lights and get them adjusted, and you know, waste time in between, took a break. So I mean, literally I could have probably got it done in an hour. I mean, it's that simple, with, you know, Jeep making it easy for you and not having to wire in a switch and mount the switch and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, putting that control panel in there, you know, it makes it so much easier. But even if you had to wire them in yourself, you know, they do have a nice kit right here. It comes with a couple different switches, all the wire and everything. And they've got quick disconnects for the lights as well. I seen that it come with the quick disconnects. So if you had to wire the lights in, you know, it's not no big deal. But anyways, again, very, very easy installation. Now, as far as the ground, I went ahead and grounded it to the battery, but you can also ground it right in here. And I was going to play around with it and see which one I like the best. But you can see there's a grounding block right in there. You can use the one that's already got something on it, or you can use the one next to it. You just got to put you a nut on the end of there, but it's no big deal. I might go back and ground it right there, but you can see that the grounding wire already had a little terminal on it, so all you did was just loosen the cable and slide it up underneath there, and that was it. There is an inline fuse right here on your power wire, and again, that power wire just hooks into the tan wire right in here, and then you're done. And I've heard a lot of people say, well, they give you a lot of extra wire. Yeah, there's enough in here with, you know, several inches to spare. I mean, it's not like you got a couple feet or anything extra, you know, so it's not real sloppy looking. And the way that I did it was just, you know, tried to hook the looms together and keep it all nice and straight, and it's not rubbing up against anything. It's out of the way. So I think it turned out great. So I'm very, very pleased. So if you're concerned about doing the wiring, trust me, it's very, very simple. If you got any questions, just put them in the comments. I'll try to help you. Now, I will say that, You don't really have to buy any kind of connectors. When you splice in the power wire right here to the tan wire, the harness from Diode Dynamics already has the butt connector already on the end of the wire. So all you really need is a pair of wire crimpers. And then I went and put a piece of heat shrink tubing over top of the butt connector. Probably a little overkill, but oh well. This is the marine grade heat shrink tubing. I like this stuff. It comes from Harbor Freight. It's really cheap, but probably about $5. But the marine grade heat shrink tubing has adhesive in the middle of it. So when you go to use a cigarette lighter to shrink it down, it releases like a glue on the inside, and it seals up the wire or the butt connector and keeps water from being able to get in there and corrode it. Now, another little tip that I have for you is, get you some bulb grease. Some people call it dielectric grease or whatever. You can pick this up at a parts store in a little plastic container like this for like $1, or you can buy a tube of it for $2 or $3. And what you want to do is take and put you just a little bit of dielectric grease inside these push-in connectors, and that way, over time, it's going to be protecting those terminals in there, so they're not going to have any corrosion. Now, I know what you're going to say. Yeah, these have a weatherproof connector on the bottom of them. They got an O-ring. Water ain't going to be able to get in there, and that's true. You can see that I've pulled it out, and you can see it's got that, it's moist, because I took and coated the inside right there, just a light coat with dielectric grease, and then that little O-ring, that orange O-ring, I went ahead and rubbed some dielectric grease on that as well, and then I just pushed it in there, and that way, again, I can know that water's not going to get down in there and corrode those terminals. Also, I went ahead and coated the ground wire that goes around that little stud right there. I took and rubbed some electric grease around there so battery terminals don't get corroded up, and that's a good thing to do. You can rub some on all the terminals here, even the positive side as well, and that way it keeps your terminals all nice and clean. So the only issue that I've seen is right here on the brackets. You can see that there's a lot of different slots where you can put different lights and accessories on. But if you wanted to move your lights over, because I've got mine mounted in this third slot, and there's still another slot over here, a couple more. So if you wanted to move it over, you're going to need a shorter bolt, because if you don't, it's going to hit into the paint. So that's a very simple fix. Just buy you a little shorter bolt if you want to move it over. I gotta say, everything that I've seen on these Diode Dynamics lights on the internet is actually true. I was wondering, and were they really as good as everybody said? And it's true. They are super freaking bright. And so I give them 2 thumbs up. I'm gonna wrap this video up. I hope this video was informative, and make sure you like and subscribe. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.